Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a drink.
All right, and we are back in the lobby bar for the week of June the 24th, 2024. Brian and Michaela here with you. And Michaela, we took a trip up north to my old stomping grounds here, Central Ohio. So how are you doing? How have you enjoyed the Ohio scenes, the sights and scenes so far?
It's been one of the biggest thrills of my life. Can confirm.
That,
Just don't
that's the first
laugh.
time. That's the first time anyone has ever said that about Ohio. I guarantee it.
That's probably true. So, funny story. I was telling my son that we were coming to visit your old stomping grounds, and he was like, Ohio is cursed." And I was like, "What?" And apparently,
Okay.
like now, all the cool kids talk about something that's bad, and they say mid instead of bad, and they say
Okay.
Ohio.
Mm,
They say
okay.
that's so Ohio, and I'm like, that's
Fair.
like Midwest? Like what does that even mean? I don't know. I feel really old. Um, but surprisingly, Ohio's been really nice. It's beautiful. It's very warm this weekend. Apparently, I brought all the sunshine of Texas with me,
That's right.
even though it's
Yeah.
been years since I've lived in Texas. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, it has been abnormally warm here, which has not been great. But we've been combating it, to the best of our abilities. Had some rosé, a few beers, some seltzers, stuff like that have been pretty good. They've helped with the weather. We did spend a good bit of time outside. We went to the zoo. That was nice. The Columbus Zoo. Had a good time there. Had a couple of beers there, but been pretty quiet, like on the cocktail front, because it's just been too hot. Michaela, who wants to have a fancy cocktail when it is super hot outside? I don't. Maybe you do, but I don't for sure. What I want to have though is a very simple drink, very refreshing, very delicious, and it's called a Shandy.
Ah, the Shandy. So I was introduced to a Shandy maybe like 15 years ago now. It was a
Okay.
little while ago.
Hmm.
Um, but I had always thought that it was like a type of beer
Right.
before that, because if you go like Line and Kukels does a summer shandy that is
Hmm.
delicious and very refreshing. But I didn't know that this was actually like a cocktail drink, like a mixed beverage that
Hmm.
you aren't necessarily just going to pick up. You can, but then it's a beer. So I'm really excited that we're covering this because I don't think we have before.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, Shandy is a classic, and like you mentioned, you were introduced to it a long time ago, and I'm guessing, in addition to like the Leinenkugel who does that, and now there are a bunch of places in the U.S. that do one. We picked up a local one here in Ohio while we've been spending some time here, but I was introduced to them similar to you back in I don't know like 2009, 10 or so when I moved to Germany because they have a drink called a Radler, which is the exact same as a Shandy. It's just in German, obviously, but basically, you mix these up and it's delicious. It brings down the ABV, so it's very manageable. Like you could like have these like all day long, sitting around the pool, having a barbecue. It's going to be perfect. Trying to survive the sweltering heat. If the AC can't keep up, mix up a shandy. So let's do one of these real quick. It is dead simple. Take a lager beer of your choice. Can be anything. Can be domestic here from the U.S. Can be a German lager. It could be like a Czech Pilsner, an Italian Pilsner, anything like that. It's any kind of just light, crisp, refreshing lager that you might have in the summer. Go ahead and pour about half of that into a glass, and then you're going to fill the glass the rest of the way with sparkling lemonade. And by sparkling lemonade, we mean Sprite, basically, right, Michaela?
Right. We mean Sprite. Uh, it's a very refreshing drink indeed. And it's interesting because my husband, when he would go to England and he would know he had to drive, he would be on shandies all night because it was a great way to have kind of a mixed drink. You felt like you were having a beer, but you weren't really
Mhm.
having a beer. And you could drink a few of them and still, feel like you were okay to drive home. We don't drink and drive right here at Drink the Movies. We want everybody to drink responsibly. So this is a great option for that as well. But I gotta say, like, this opens up like an entire door of possibilities because you can
Mhm.
add anything to this Sprite 7 Up situation and
Right.
make it like super refreshing, super light, and really delightful. So like I've done like but not burnt orange. What is it? That blood orange, like a blood orange beer shandy. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any of like anything except maybe a stout. A stout might not. lend
Yeah,
itself so
yeah,
well.
maybe steer away from the dark beers. Yeah, I know in Germany it was big to do like a Hefeweizen, so like a wheat beer would be good, or like here in the US like a Blue Moon or something if you wanted to jazz that up, something like that. That would be good. You could also go the Snakebite route, Michaela. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Also hailing from England there, which is basically the same as Shandy, except swap that sparkling lemonade, aka Sprite out for apple cider, right? So
Right.
you can do that, and then you get what is called a snake bite there. But yeah, it's really good. It's really refreshing. It's really simple, and it's going to be perfect because it's been like 100 degrees here every day since we've been in Ohio. And why are we in Ohio, you might ask? That's because we're going to see the middle kids tonight. I probably brought them up a time or two over the course of our Drink the Music stint. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the concert going experience next week in the lobby bar, but definitely looking forward to it. And we're in Columbus, Ohio to celebrate the night with some drinks, with some music, with some friends. It's going to be a really good time. What else has been a good time, Michaela? That is going to see Inside Out 2. Second week in a row, it tops the box office, $100 million more dollars. It's up to 355 domestically, $724 million worldwide, which is enough to knock it up past Dune as the top grossing film of the year. So good job there. Bikeriders opened with a pretty respectable $10 million. So good on that. Good on that there. What have you heard about the Bikeriders, Michaela? We have to get back to Charlotte first. So that's step one, and then step two is probably going to be going to see the Bikeriders, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I've heard that Austin Butler is amazing. No surprise there. Tom Hardy is amazing. No surprise there. Um, I've heard great things. I mean, but we haven't seen it yet, so I'm really excited. I definitely think this is going to be an early Oscar contender. You know how we kind of have that early season and then, the late season where things kind of sneak in under the line and then get
Mhm.
blown up. I think this is definitely kind of being heralded as some performances that are going to get some Oscar nods. Cinematography actually looks really cool. I love a good bike ride. So again, I think I've said this before on the last lobby bar, but this kind of reminds me of like a newer, different version of like Easy Rider, right? So
Yeah.
because we haven't seen something like that epic since then. So that'll be interesting. But I don't know if this is going to fizzle out, like if this is going to be really big and then kind of become lackluster by the time we actually get into the
Mm.
throw of Oscar season or not. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of legs it has in terms of in terms of like Oscar and award season type of stuff because it was, kind of ramping up at the end of last year when it was meant to come out. And now we'll see. We'll see how the studio decides to play it. Michaela said that she loves a good bike ride. I think she just loves being in a biker gang with Austin Butler and Tom Hardy. Maybe that's really
I
what it
mean,
is there. I
can
don't know.
confirm as well. I mean, hit two birds with one stone there. I mean, I'm up for both. I'm
There
up
you
for both.
go. There you go. Absolutely. Maybe you're up for this then, Michaela. We've got a new film coming out this week. It is A Quiet Place Day One. This is the third installment in the Quiet Place franchise, which is something that no one probably thought they were going to be saying in 2018 when the first one came out. Written and directed by John Krasinski there, starring John Krasinski there, Quiet Place Part Two. But now we're on Quiet Place Day One, which I guess is meant to be some sort of like like an origination story for this Quiet Place story. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with these films, but it's got a couple things going in its favor that I'm pretty high on. It's got Lupita Nyong'o and Jimon Honshu, who we talked about in our Gladiator episode just a couple of weeks back. So really, high on both of those actors there. So I think this could be pretty good. I think it's going to be a nice kind of a palate cleanser, I guess, coming off of Inside Out 2 as we play through the summer before we get to the Deadpool and Wolverine madness that's coming later this month, right?
Yeah, what better way to cleanse your palate off of all the emotions you're feeling than to be scared to death and not be able
Yeah,
to express them
it's
because it might be loud.
it's like an emotional reset.
It's something. Look, I'm a little worried because I love Lupita Nyong'o, but I don't want her to become like the opposite of the Scream Queen, whatever that is for horror films, because she did Us, and now she's done
Hmm.
this. And this is definitely going to be more in the horror, thriller genre than anything else, I think. I am not a fan of the premise of The Quiet Place, just because to me it makes no sense. Now, every time I say this to someone who's seen the movies, they tell me, Michaela, you're being a hater. Don't do that. Just go watch it. They explain all the things, but it makes no
Hmm.
sense to
Hmm.
me. It's like if there are aliens that are like super sensitive to sound, I'm dead. Everybody who speaks is dead. I mean, we live in the most loud time in the history of history. Everything we do makes noise. We can't even go to the bathroom anymore without it. Like the automatic flushers, like every 5 seconds, and the hand dryers being like
Well,
no, like
yeah,
we're all gonna die.
presumably you turn those off. So really, when you say you're not a fan of the premise of this, you're not a fan of a reality where where you would be gone within seconds. So okay, so
Well,
I
that
get that. I
too.
get that.
That's
I
that's
get that.
that's true too.
Yeah,
But
that makes
I
sense.
am
That makes
excited
sense.
to see. Now I have to see them all though because I really love Lupita Nyong'o, and I mean, who doesn't love Jimon Honsu? I mean, this is probably going to be great. The acting's going to be top notch. I just don't know if I can get behind the story. I'm going to have to work hard to do that.
Yeah, just get there, get there. It looks pretty good. It looks the visuals look pretty good. And like I said, it's going to be something we get to watch here. Is the box office is going to be a little bit back and forth. I think Out 2 is going to keep kind of reigning supreme here for the next couple of weeks because like I said, nothing major coming out until Deadpool Wolverine at the end of the month. So it's got kind of a month here to play with just a couple of smaller and mid-type releases. Let's talk about TV stuff going on. Kung Fu Panda 4 that is coming to Peacock here this week. That's pretty exciting. Mad Max, Furiosa, a Mad Max story, which we covered here on the podcast. No one in the world went out and saw that. Maybe they're all waiting for it to hit video on demand because it is doing that this week. So if you need to get your Mad Max fix, check that out. Maybe we'll have to do that. Maybe now we've watched it, maybe I'll have to watch Furiosa and Mad Max Fury Road just back to back and see how I feel about the 7 hour journey through the desert there. So we've got that coming
Sure.
everyone's way. We've got The Return of the Bear on Hulu, which is by all accounts one of the greatest TV shows on at the moment. So everyone's looking forward to that. That's going to be coming out later this week. And we've got another documentary, Roger Federer's 12 final days. That's coming to Amazon Prime. If you've been having a hankering for some more tennis action after what was that movie called? The tennis movie that we just went and saw, Challengers. If you watch
Challengers.
Challengers and you're like, let's see some real tennis action, Roger Federer, that's a good one to do because probably the best of all time. So that's going to be fun, kind of chronicling his final tournament. So what about these, Michaela? The Bear? I don't think you ever even started The Bear. Get on with it. Kung Fu
I
Panda,
know.
you going to get that? Roger
Uh,
Federer, what are your thoughts? The Swiss tennis
okay.
champion. Come on.
Oh my gosh. There's so much. So Kung Fu Panda, I really like the first two. I think I saw the third one, maybe. They all kind of run together, and I don't mean that as a non-fan. I'm a huge Jack Black fan. I mean, I think he's hilarious and awesome. So I'm excited about Kung Fu Panda. You're right about the bear. It's been on my list forever. Now that there are 4 seasons, is this 4 seasons? Third season? Three. Okay. I can binge it. And that's really what I like to do because once I start a show, and usually what happens, Brian, is you will watch something and you will tell me to watch it for years and I will not listen. And then I will start
Correct.
watching it and then I will be real mad because number one, I love it. And number two, I'm only like able to watch one season because I have to wait a year for the next season. So I'm really just doing
Mm,
myself a favor because I know that if you love it, I'm probably going to love it too.
hmm
But yeah, I need to get on it. Federer, I hadn't heard about this up until maybe like 3 days ago that this was a thing that was coming out. So I'm excited about it from an educational standpoint because I had no idea who this person is.
No.
And that's the thing about documentaries, right? That are cool, like and historical fiction movies in general, like or historically based kind of biopics. I think it's really cool because I never would have looked him up on my own. I never would have known anything about it had it not shown up in my prime saying it was coming. So
Well, there you go. There you go. You can learn all about tennis, all about Roger Federer on Amazon Prime this week. So last week, Michaela, we talked about The Departed. That was a really fun show. This week, we're celebrating. Pride Month has been going strong all month. We're going to be talking about it this week when we cover the film Pride from 2014. That is a really excellent episode. Look for that coming out. And if you have been able to check out our Patreon, we've got the original Mad Max covered on there, and we did our hangouts just last week. That was a really fun time. Mixed up some cocktails, chatted with the patrons, and then the recording of that stream is available for all the patrons now. So if you want to support the podcast, the Patreon is a good way to do that. It's patreon.com/drinkthemovies. And we appreciate everyone who took some time to hang out with us and, chat movies, chat cocktails, and just have a good time over there. So, Michaela, that has been a lot here for the lobby bar. We have a concert to get ready for. We have some Shandys to drink, probably as we're waiting for the music to kick off and enjoy the sweltering heat here in Ohio. It's probably going to cool down the second that we leave. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead, grab the lemonade. I'll grab us a lager, an American lager, and we'll be back next week to chat to everyone in the lobby bar.
woohoo!